Welcome to the 310 QuickPod. My name is Germain, and I'm your host, and this is the famous Ryan Weiss. Welcome.
Famous.
Yeah, you are. You're famous around here, bro. Welcome to the QuickPod, Ryan.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah. Likewise. We got to hang out today. We did the CrossFit holiday workout called
Murph.
We did do Murph today. Yep. How'd it go for you?
Well, in the words of Misty, I didn't die. So.
Yeah, we didn't lose anyone today. That's great.
Yeah. Have you been losing people? Anyways, it went well. It was, I was actually looking to see if I had a number written down anywhere. I didn't. So I think that was the first real Murph that I've done without breaking it up or being out of town. So it went well.
Yeah. What do you mean breaking it up? Do you mean
I think I did.
you didn't go straight through?
Right. I mean, like not doing, like cutting it in half or super scale or anything.
Doing a fraction of it. Gotcha.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Is that an RX doing what I did today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
In the description, it says break up rounds and reps anyway in the middle, and then it also says if you have a vest, wear it. However, there are debates all over the internet. Once it happens in like the games, people are like, now you got to go straight through for the RX. And
I noticed Will Jones didn't break it up.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that's just kind of Will Jones' style. Like that's his way. He's connecting with his Australian Games athlete friends. He's connecting with the Fitzharrises and Justine Beath. Yeah, and he says, I want to do that. So
yeah, there's no way. I mean, maybe one day, but I don't think I could have gotten through it if I didn't break it up in the rep scheme I did. So
you could have, just would have taken longer. You'd have been okay.
Maybe. I mean, I was worried about those push-ups.
Yeah, for sure.
200 push-ups
about.
straight.
Sure. Yep. If you're a bodyweight genius, you are good to go. But I will say this, that this talk that we're having right now is kind of surrounding kind of the idea that I wanted to pull you onto the podcast for, or the QuickPod for. We have been doing CrossFit quite a while together, right? I've been doing it for 10 years. Had the gym open. This is our 9th year open, and
we were trying to figure that out earlier. I think like 6 or 7 years.
Yep.
It's got to be at least 6.
I could have looked easily, but I forgot.
It's at least 6 years, probably 7.
Yeah. And so I invited you on. What I'm really interested in talking about is, well, what do we do with this after so many years? Because there's an arc. I feel really lucky to have been doing this for 10 years because I was in early. I got to see what it looked like early and what kind of happened with people over the arc of what people wanted from CrossFit, what we learned from CrossFit, where CrossFit is now. And but it's a pertinent question to ask because we're trying to build longevity. But what do you do with CrossFit? What do you do with this methodology after a few years? What was your experience?
Yeah. I mean, if you take like my CrossFit career, I guess.
Yes.
Haven't gotten cash, but if you take it, it's kind of been like cut in half, where the first half of it was really, figuring out what the heck is CrossFit. I mean, the first year was like just getting in here and getting past that point of looking on the website and seeing like, oh, there's a bunch of pull-ups, not going to that one, to...
There's like a cherry-picking phase, is that
what you're
saying?
At least for me. I can't speak for everybody,
but... Yeah, there is, for sure, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, but with that comes confidence and all of that. So the first year, and I wouldn't expect anybody new into CrossFit to ever, like, the first year is just go there and just kind of hang out, and you're not going to be able to do anything, and you're just going to be like, leaving WODs with things on your arms and legs from double unders, and that's just what the first year is. And then after that, I was realizing that my initial goals coming into this place were not going to be realized without adding other things into it. Nutrition, better recovery, sleep. So that was really what the next kind of phase of CrossFit was for me. Yeah. And then, I'd say the last few years has really just been, all right, like I got it now what? And I think you and I have kind of had these conversations a little bit. And yeah, there's some things I can strive for, and goals. Obviously goals are great. Gotta always have them, but what's next? I don't know. Maybe we could figure that out right now.
That's exactly what we're here for. This is a great question. People should be asking themselves this question, because I think that there should be an evolution of an athlete, and even an athlete mind. There should be, this as a gym owner, I plan to have people forever. And that doesn't happen. We don't even, I don't know. That can't happen with everybody. But I don't know who's going to be here for 3 months, and I don't know who's going to be here for 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. And so there is a little arc. And so I think it's really important to talk about that you will change in this place because of time. You change over time. Mm-hmm. And what you do inside of this place, it has to. It's impossible not to change how you see you inside of a box, inside of even a group of people, and inside of this methodology.
Sure.
Especially if, like, we're talking 1 or 2 years, it could kind of be the same, inside of that time. But if you're starting to break into 3, 4, 5, 6, life just hurtles along in so many different ways. And if people aren't expecting to change, it can be hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's very easy probably for a CrossFit athlete who's been doing it for years to just kind of plateau and stagnant, where you just show up, you're in your, whatever time class you go to, everybody in the gym. RX WODs aren't the hardest thing in the world for you. And then you just are like, all right. And I think you need to figure out another mountain to climb, and figure out what else you can get out of this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, it's tough because you go through phases of CrossFit constantly, where like 1 year it's like, I'm going hard, I'm going to, not eat an entire carb for a year and, run all these marathons or whatever. And then other years you're just, I'm just going to do my, 4 a week and have a burger every other night and call it a day. And, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I think you could find things here, at least in this gym especially, you can find things that are other little mountains to climb. And, I mean, for me, a lot of it's just been having fun. That's like,
yes,
because this hasn't, honestly, like, as much as I love this place, this hasn't been fun. What didn't become fun for me until I started getting building the confidence and realizing, like, oh, at one point that guy in the gym over there who could lift an insane amount more weight than me and who could finish a workout way faster than me, well, now we do it the same amount we have the same numbers, right? It is possible that, that guy was 7 years younger back then. So I've caught up a little bit, but I think that you gotta find other things. And so for me, it was just, I went through my injury last year and I was like, all right, I got to figure out a different way to do this, and just having fun with it has been the last thing for the last year.
Yeah. Well, that's where I would try to go with everybody. And, we got a little quip that we say here all the time. If you're not having fun, then we're not doing it right. It's just, the training can be hard. Like, it's not easy stuff that we do in here. And if you don't find fun either in the expression of the workout, or the community of people that you're with, or in the arc of growth, you're going to be in trouble.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like, you've got to find something. And I will say that there's like one other kind of caveat that if your drive for something that you love so much is outside of the gym and it's so good, it's likely that you could come in and train. But if none of those things are firing that I just said, you're not going to be in here for 5 or 6 years. That's for sure.
But maybe that thing outside is something that CrossFit can help you with too.
That's what I mean. Oh, no, that's what I mean. Like, your training, I want people to have something bigger than this place. If you don't have a reason why you're doing this that's bigger than just this gym, you're going to be done after a little while. Your arc is going to end when you start getting your goals, because usually most people they're going to get a lot of attainable goals, but then they're also going to realize, well, I'm not going to the games. Do you know what I mean? And so,
or I'm not going to regionals.
There's got to be something.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? And so absolutely, I'm trying to tie it to something in life all the time, because we know that movement is valuable, and for some people, sheer movement all by itself, just for the sake of movement, gives them joy, and this place feels like a warm bath for them. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, okay, good. They just come in and we play and we challenge and we teach. And for other people, we have to kind of get into that. And I'll say that for you, that's what I feel like I've been watching in the last year. You needed to reckon with two things. You had a wrist injury for a long time, and you had a back injury. Mm-hmm. Those two things, I think, helped or forced you to reframe, or at least step back and look at what this is.
Sure.
And not everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the wrist injury for me, what's funny is both of those injuries were not CrossFit related. At least I wasn't working out when those injuries happened. But yeah, the wrist injury, I mean, that was really early on. That was within my first year, I want to say, of being here. And that was, I mean, it sucked, and it still does, because I still feel it from time to time. But you're right. Like, what that did for me was that made me realize that there's things you need to do before a workout to prep your body. So, like, I mean, most people will see me before every single WOD. I'm over in the corner doing some weird things with my wrists on the floor. Yeah. And those are just some wrist movements and stretches that I learned from a coach in here a while ago. And now it's just part of every warm-up. And, maybe other things can be brought into that for other people who maybe they don't have an injury, but maybe there's certain areas that you have tight hips or tight low back or something. You can implement that into your warm-up. Regardless of what it says on the board, you can always add a little bit.
For sure. I write the warm-up kind of like the workouts. I'm like, if you've got nothing going on with you, these things that we do, it's going to get you warm and you're going to be ready to play. But if you have anything going on, we need to take away and add and restructure inside of that to get you ready to play and get you set, or to help you recover over the course of time. Then, we have the flexibility to do that. Yeah.
And then the back injury, which we're coming up on a year since I had it, that was a rough injury, because it wasn't just a bad injury in that, like, oh, I can't work out, or, I'm in pain. Like, I finally, in the first time, understood how back pain can, like, bleed into so many other aspects of your life, where you almost, I don't want to say it gave me depression, but, like, I was, like, a little depressed. I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to deal with this.
You can't do the things that you want to do. That's not a stretch at all. I watch people just, they just shrink and wilt, because they can't express themselves. They can't, even when they come in for a little while, we got to talk them through, hey, this is a period of time. Mm-hmm. You can't do the weights. It just makes you feel like you lose, or it has the temptation to, unless it's framed right. If you're being cheered on and coached and loved by a bunch of people around you, you get it.
It was tough. I mean, but it was good. Like you said, it was good. It kind of led me into a new path where I came into the gym, and I wasn't doing the RX weights, and I wasn't, or the RX WODs, I wasn't lifting as much as I was. I mean, at first I was just afraid to, because I even came in, I spoke to a few people who I knew had been injured in the past, and I was like, how do you get to that point where you went through an injury and you're willing to come in here and do this stuff? And I guess just over time it comes. But
It's confidence, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I realize that you can do a lot of these WODs without the weight and still have just as good of a workout and have fun with it. And when I stopped kind of caring about the numbers, that's when the fun came. And
yeah. Which is that's so funny. I think we just hit the bullseye of this conversation, because I have been watching you, and you've been with me for so long, or been with us for so long. But I felt like last year I was like, and maybe you leave next year. I have no idea. But what happened with you mentally last year is what longevity is made of.
Sure.
And it's the strangest thing, Ryan, because this is usually what happens with my young coaches too. You can't ever wish something like that, right? You can't ever be like, that guy needs an injury so he learns a lesson and stuff like that. Like, you can't do anything like that. But I know that when my coaches have gone through something, there is a maturity and a perspective that comes, and they're able to do two things. They're able to reframe themselves in a more masterful way underneath the methodology, and they're also able to teach and encourage others in a totally different way.
It's like a failure type thing almost. You learn from your failures. I'm not saying getting injured is a failure necessarily, but it's kind of the same.
It's
same
strange,
flavor.
but to get masterful inside of this thing, it's like you have to go through something. And again, like, we do everything that we can to never go through that, but stuff happens in life. And like you said, it happened outside. What happened to your back again? What?
I was getting out of the shower. I was drying off my leg, and I came up quickly, and I just felt it. And
the only reason I remember, I probably would have forgotten, but I sent you a really funny meme.
Yeah, it was really mean. It was really mean. I'll never forget that.
Longevity and becoming a master inside of the dojo.
Yes.
Our QuickPod time limit is coming to an end. One quick question for you. Inside of where you are right now, it's so fun to be like, oh, when I stopped caring ultimately about the numbers, that's where the fun started happening. So how do you see a goal right now? Like, can you articulate it, or are you just enjoying being here and being with people and moving? Because you don't stop challenging yourself. You've gotten better. I've seen you technically get better since experiencing what you just said.
Right.
And there's a freedom inside of that. You're free to get better instead of being a slave to the RX or the weight, which has, where you could have like some hackneyed movement that you would never get past.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a few things there, right? It's not like one goal. One thing I've noticed, and like I explained it with what I did today, was in the past I felt like I was chasing people in the gym, and this is going to sound so corny, but now I'm like chasing me.
Yes.
So like today we did Murph, and I thought I did great because I didn't die. And Coach DJ said to me, he's like, "You gonna do a vest next year?" And I was like, "No, I'm just gonna beat my score this year."
Yeah.
And that's kind of so like little things like that. And one thing that it took me a while to start doing this, but like writing down all of my, even though I said don't care about the numbers, don't care about them, but know what those are.
Sure,
and
reference points.
Exactly.
Oh,
and so, I have like a whole notepad on my phone of all the stuff I'm doing, and I can look back and say, all right, what it's going to take for me to get 5 more pounds on this lift, or a few more minutes.
Or 23 seconds faster.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. But
the boat.
No. I mean that is why we want to keep numbers for people.
Right.
Because if you happen to have known that, you'd have been like, I can go get that. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Right. I know for a fact that, okay, so I got 23 seconds over 60 minutes today on my Murph. And I know for a fact I could have, if I did this, if I just looked at the clock on my turnaround which I
Sure.
didn't do. And that's just a stupid thing that I should have.
Yeah, it's
I
all right.
knew I could have absolutely shaved that off. But you know,
But
next year.
Yeah, but like you say, you just know. I did not mean to like jab you. The shower for sure. But
What else? Another big thing that that was the original thing where I came in here was like a weight loss thing, and that's a battle I've always struggled with is nutrition. Mainly because it's reality. I love eating food. It's just something that we have part of our culture. It's a social thing, and so being able to like get back to, I think my pinnacle when it came to that was a few years ago. I was really focused on my nutrition, and I don't think I did it right necessarily because I think it negatively impacted my workouts in here because I lost so much weight.
yeah.
But like trying to find that balance in there is a big thing. So that's a huge goal of mine. I guess coming up in the, immediately. And yeah, I guess I don't know. You know my personality type. I have like a new hobby every weekend.
Yeah.
So whatever I got to do to make those hobbies better, I guess.
Well, here's what I hear. The things that you're talking about, even though you dipped into nutrition, the thing that I hear from you is you just want to. It seems like you want to get a little more masterful at all of this.
Sure.
And those are really subtle things. They're not as they're not as big sometimes of being like, well, I don't have a muscle up. I want to get a muscle up. Do you know what I mean? It's like these subtle little things, but over time, like you just start making small diet choices, small sleep choices, schedule choices, consistency choices. And then all of a sudden you're in another bracket for you inside of here and feeling different. So
yeah, it's very, and I hate to let my work bleed into this, but it's like iterative, you can go in there and learn how to do a certain movement and maybe get to a certain weight. But if you just tweak a little tiny thing, all of a sudden you're going to start increasing those weights or decreasing the time it takes for you to do something because of little tweaks. And back to like writing down your numbers, when you have that data in front of you, you can kind of figure out what's going on. I think when you're filming us and stuff in class, that's a huge help because we can look at what's going on and understand. I'm a visual learner, so being able to understand when you're saying to me, oh, you missed this move or whatever, and seeing that in the video helps me kind of understand, all right, I got to move my butt a little bit or change this a little bit. And I don't know, that's kind of what the future is, I guess.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe I'll go to the games next year. I don't know.
I hope so. That would be fun. Wouldn't that be a treat?
No.
All right, buddy. This is the QuickPod. This is the 310 QuickPod. This is my great friend, Ryan Weiss. That's it.
Thanks for having me on.